Ladies and gentlemen, Crown of Thoughts. This is Double A. Jesse Burtner with us.
What's up?
The mad scientist.
As I've been had this moniker like associated with me.
I just make shit up.
I mean, it kind of makes sense, right?
To me, it seems that way. This dude's got like a shit ton of fucking recording and mastering equipment. What you're hearing now is the new Monsta album, Keep It Monsta, that he's been working on.
Yeah, it's been like, it takes me back to kind of, you know what it reminds me of? Twisted's first cut, when they were like back like before ICP signed them to Psychopathic, and like their older like recordings weren't refined. They sounded like they were made on all different setups.
Oh, and it had to be mixed together.
Yeah,
that's how all my shit is. That's why, because I don't use studios. When I'm at my house recording, I'm not careful. It's like I'm in a mood one day and it's like, did that song. I don't touch it for a month, and then another day I'm like, oh fuck, I want to do a song. So then it ends up being shit.
You should see my hard drive. Is just a backpack full of projects. Like,
oh yeah,
I mean, unfinished. I have.
How much stuff do you work on?
So
generally,
I don't know. It's just kind of like it comes in waves. I work like 60, 70-hour weeks. So like
your job,
yeah, during the week. So like, if I have any kind of like motivation at all, it's usually for like a good like half an hour, 45-minute chunk, maybe during the week if I have the energy. But like Friday nights and Saturday nights are typically like my time for when my kid goes to bed. I'll put on some headphones, and if I'm not playing video games, I'm making some sort of music or collaborating with somebody. I have a group of dudes that I came out with we had one of a pandemic album.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's the guy that donated all like the majority of this equipment. His name's Jay. My buddy Bowden, the motherfucker, the beast from the east. Jay Beats. He fucking gave me like a bunch of this stuff. I bought an electronic drum set, and I was bored during the pandemic, and I wanted to be able to play. Like in the middle of the night if I wanted to, or late. It's hard.
Oh, because you could put the headphones on.
Yeah.
And use that, so you're not waking every. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I had a bunch of that fuck you money from unemployment. I mean, it was just.
Yeah, fuck you, because I didn't get any of that shit.
Well, I mean, I was working in construction, right? And so I had like already like decent unemployment from that.
Yeah.
So, but then I was getting the extra $600 a week for like 6 months. So I was getting like close. It was something that Trump that came out with for the first 6 months of the pandemic. Anybody that was collecting unemployment period that got laid off because of their job shut down, which mine did. Like they were literally they shut everything down.
Because there's people are making less money now, like 80%, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Well, no, it was I don't know what it was. I can't explain. I don't know. I wasn't asking questions. I was taking the money, tax free. You know what I mean? Well, not tax. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like somebody pays for it, and I do. I mean, I pay into unemployment all the time.
You're like dancing around my reaction, but you work man's job, like work.
I work my fucking ass off and pay my fucking taxes. Yeah, damn right. Fucking taxation and stuff, but yeah, so like I was like getting like a couple grand every 2 weeks. Like, it's just like, and I'm not used to that. I was like, wow, this is what a living wage actually feels like for us, right?
So it's like that's what this is.
That's what this is.
Do we got a good
let's
shot on all this?
Yeah, so you can take a little tour around.
I can't see where it's.
So my E drums are back there in the corner, and then like I don't know if I can.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah, I'll do this here. So it's kind of like a wraparound.
Ladies and gentlemen, Crown of Thoughts. I'm your host, Double A, and Jesse Burtner's with us today.
What's up? Hey, girlfriend.
Showing you all his equipment here.
Showing you, yeah. What did you message, Jen? You're like talking about my equipment. He gave you a heart.
Oh yeah, because this shit to me, as someone that fucks with music a lot, just because when I hear music, I'm like, that's not what I wanted to hear. I want to make that something that I want to hear. But I never took the time to, like, I'm not, I just like to create as far as getting things refined and down to sound real good and have quality equipment. That's not where, I'm not detail oriented. I'm abstract minded, so that's kind of, this type of stuff's difficult for me to have the patience for, and I've never learned enough about it because of that to even know what half of this shit does, to be honest. Like, I see, you said you could make a song out of a plate.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. You can sample, like, literally, like, you can sample literally anything and from any source and make a song out of it. I mean, it's just
out of one sound.
Yeah. It's stressful.
Yeah, I imagine.
But it can be done. No, it's fun. I mean, surrounded by drums and MIDI controllers and synthesizers, and it's a gaming computer too. I mean, it was that pandemic fuck you money that I was getting from unemployment, and yeah, that was wild. Getting a couple grand every couple weeks, and like, and I was bored, and I was like, literally, like, I'm buying an electronic drum set so I can play at nighttime. And actually, I was a streamer on Twitch for a hot minute. I streamed Destiny 2.
Now, Twitch, I always heard that's like a version of YouTube that's not censored. Where you can actually say shit that you want to say.
It is a
but no one uses it. That's kind of what I heard.
Okay. So, just like any other platform, it has its limitations to their terms of service and what you can and cannot say. You're not allowed to, technically, you shouldn't. It's not that you're not allowed to, but it's bad manners to talk about other content creators that aren't in the room. You know what I mean? Or at least you don't. Like, you could start name dropping, blah, 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 blah. You know.
That's considered slander, though. It depends on how far you go.
Yeah, it can
be. If you just say they suck at that, that's not slander. Name calling and shit. But.
Right. No, it's just, I don't know. It's a different land over there. Everybody, it's pretty cutthroat too. Like, people will, like, what happened to me is I got used for my content and my style and my brand to be associated with somebody who, in the end, like, stepped on me to be able to connect with somebody else who had more viewers, and then attached to them, and then stepped on them.
Oh.
And I was just like, but by that time I was like, you know, fuck streaming, I need to get back to work.
Well, because I was thinking of that as a good alternative, because YouTube, when YouTube came out, you could say anything and show anything on it you felt like, and now you can't hardly do shit. I have an episode that was banned, and it's like, why?
I went to
like,
my friend of mine, Eric, that lives down the street. His son's autistic like my son is, but a little bit worse off. Like, he's limited verbal ability. But he's like a musical savant, right?
Okay.
So like he picks up anything. Like, he learned like a bunch of songs on guitar, and he wanted to foster his son playing drums. So they got, like, I guess somebody had donated maybe or maybe they got real super cheap an electronic drum set.
Yeah.
And he was looking. He posted on Facebook. He's like, hey, does anybody of any drummer friends in the area just have a pair of, like, sticks that they're just not using? Maybe they're, like, worn out or whatever, just for my son, so he can play drums. I was like, I commented and I said, I get out of work at like 3, drop Silas off at Kids Club, and then I'll run him over when I'm done with that. Well, Facebook's like AI mod, like trigger warning, fucking whatever texting, like took the words "run him over," and then literally said, like, took it as like I was gonna run over my friend's kid with a car. Like that's how they translated it, their AI, and banned my account for 2 weeks. Like shut it down. And I was like, fuck this. I don't even need it. So I deactivated it for like, I deactivated my shit for like a good 6 months. And then I just
Facebook altogether.
Yeah. Well, before that though, I took like almost 2 years off of
I did
Facebook.
too, and I can tell you this. I felt better with no Facebook. Like I felt calm.
It's kind of
I looked
pointless.
at the sky and I'm like, I'm back, man, I'm here.
It's literally something to swipe on while you're taking a shit. Like,
But no, the other thing is, I network with tons of people on it.
I know.
I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now. That's the, you know what I mean? It does that.
I did
too.
keep Messenger just to keep in touch with people.
I did too.
But I could deal without the ads and the targeted content where they're like, I'm talking about buying a desk and all of a sudden ads for desks are showing up in my Facebook feed. Like it's real shit, dude. Like, and you know, speaking of which, not to change the subject, but to kind of evolve and flow, AI is coming fast. These images. Look at this image behind you. See that image of them on TV? I made that with a prompts on an AI. I know it doesn't look clear in here, but what it is I said drums, underwater, fisheye lens, hyper realistic 4K. That's what literally the tagline I put, and it randomly generated that image. Because I was thinking about Metalocalypse. Did you ever watch that show? Did you ever see the episode where they recorded an album under the sea?
Yeah.
That's what I was like. That's what I was thinking about. That came out fucking badass, dude. That's scary how fucking badass that came out.
What I don't like about AI is doing shit creative. I don't care if AI does shit logical and
Skynet is
but
here.
when it does shit creative, that takes our life away. That's what humans are. That's what differentiates humans from almost anything is creativity.
Yeah.
And if you got, obviously I don't know how it works. Not who does. Even the people that create AI, it's probably decompartmentalized. But I don't like that. Something being creative that's not a real entity.
I don't support it either.
It devalues everything that we do as people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know. It'll make, but what it will do, it's gonna have a double-edged sword. So it's gonna flood the market with like images and text and now voice. Like you could take like Michael Jackson or Barry Manilow or Howard Stern and have a voice that's like just hype whatever it is, and the AI will go out and find whatever it needs to simulate that voice. And like it's getting real scary how fucking close that shit is. Like,
well, when it can do stuff in of itself and we don't know, we can't comprehend it, then we're done, because it can just do whatever. Like like let's say you got
it's still programmed by a human, but what's to stop it?
That's what I'm trying to say. Like it was originally. When you got something that's like, say you got a screwdriver. The screwdriver does one thing. Say you give that screwdriver the intelligence of Einstein, and it keeps trying to drive screws in different ways. It doesn't really know what it's doing. Like AI, I don't know that it's gonna have intent. I just think it's gonna do shit. And God knows what.
You're not wrong. Yeah,
I mean,
you're not wrong. I mean, that's the whole movie Terminator is based off that shit. Skynet is a real thing. Like it's coming fast, and I guarantee government's already shut down specific AI algorithms and programs that, like, I'm sure it's out there. It has to be. They might not talk about it on the fucking media that you listen to on the news.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you about something that happened today, and now you are informed. Like,
who knows? The goddamn news could be produced by AI.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It's fucking wild, man.
Guys, we're listening to Monsta, Keep It Monsta album that this dude's mastering for Reality Horror Records.
Yeah, it's been a labor of love for sure. I mean, listening to all these different tracks and how they were all like recorded on different qualities and trying to bring them onto a cohesive like story from beginning to end. It's been cool. A lot of EQ and compression tricks and stuff to get it bumping, but I mean, I don't know how good it's gonna sound on the camera. But
I have no idea, cause like I don't have like a mic set up or anything on the computer, but I only had a mic the past couple episodes, anyways.
That is recording audio, right?
Yeah, it's just probably gonna sound like shit. It's kind of.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, dude, he's got some weird shit on here, dude.
As soon as I say that.
Yeah. See how I fucking it's like I mixed it so it's like all like doesn't really show. Here comes the next song. Yeah, Monsta is. This cat has got some creativity, man. I've come to like I've never listened to this cat before ever until I heard these songs, and every time I'm listening to it, I'm like I start like I'm getting the head nod. You know what I mean? Like
his lyrics are nuts too. And then like the one day I had sent him a beat or something, and he was at work, and he sent me back all the lyrics on his break time. He made up all the lyrics in like 20 minutes, and it was like this, and he's like, that's not very good, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, how the fuck did you do that at work? He made up and he's lyrical. Like he's not rhyming one syllable.
He's got
per
something
line.
to say, yeah.
So it's like
he's verbose.
He's a beast.
Yeah. The only thing I could say is that, like, I wish I had the stems. I wish I had
stems. Like, I didn't even know what you meant when you said.
That's what it is.
You're in a different world then.
So each instrument is like the hats and the kick and the snare, and the bass and the guitar. Like all those individual wave files are called stems because they're literally the stems that make up the project.
Like, rather than just the beats one track,
right?
You got it all split up.
So like going forward, like if we can, we gotta get stems because it makes it easier.
How do you do that though?
Well, when you export your tracks, like I can export all of my tracks. I could have like 29 to what I could have 100 fucking tracks, right, on a song, and I hit export all as individual tracks, and it'll give export stems.
Like, but if someone sends you a beat already made, you can't separate it. All right.
Well, you can.
Like,
with,
how the fuck?
You can with AI. No, you can't.
Who even needs that dude's beat with AI?
But it's not a perfect science because it's literally it's trying to pull information from the sound wave itself. Because now you're merging all of that together into one file. You know, that's what these are. They're all individual songs. So
so right now on my computer I got some songs I was gonna form into an album. After coming here the other night and chilling for a bit, I was like, I took all them songs and I'm just gonna drop it as an album and then record here, because my recordings won't be varying because you're gonna have some kind, I don't know how you do it, but you probably have some kind of recipe to keep everything level. If you're gonna record it as you go and not take previously recorded.
I mean,
shit.
I have a template set up, but it's pretty
yeah,
basic.
yeah.
It's just got my drum kit loaded up on one track, and then like a couple of empty wave files, like wave tracks that I could just drag shit into. And then like if I want to add like an instrument, I just like add a new track and start playing with stuff. I mean, I don't know. Like with this stuff, it's like there's so many. They're what's called VSTs. A VST is a virtual instrument, and you could like play like French horn or like whatever, right? But it goes deeper than that, like because all these plugins come with like parameters and knobs that you can play with, right?
Oh yeah,
and twist the sound up to make it whatever you want.
Like them couple of beats that I sent you, that's how it worked. It was like that's like I said, it was easy, but it was super time consuming. You know, like I'm sitting there on the computer.
It is.
My fucking drink's only half drank. I'm like sucked into the computer. It's like 9 a.m. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? You know, that type of shit. But it wasn't hard. There was just so many options. I didn't know where to begin.
I know. That is, well, and that's where a lot of producers cheat. And there's websites, like I use Looperman. My buddy Jason, who donated all this stuff to me, he showed me the site. And that's where we actually met Artem.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Jenna.
From the site.
Because Jenna posts on Looperman his piano loops. And Jason was like downloading all these like really emotional like piano loops and stuff from Jenna. And you can contact the artist on that site. Like if the artist has it set up that way. It's an
always
option.
Wondering how the hell you come into contact.
So
with
he starts emailing the German dude, and that's how we literally formed our relationship. So like, I'll go on Looperman and not just look for Jenna, but like whoever. Like there's this one dude Lennox that makes ill guitar loops, like Spanish shit, and I'll start with like a 16 bar loop that he made, right? Okay. And then that's like maybe got some jazziness to it or something, and then I'll load up my drum kit and just like play a couple loops, play like a couple sections and different variations of beats, and then I'll come over here and I'll clean them up and separate them into different tracks, and then fucking like cherry pick what ones I want to do, and then I'll be like, so I can start the song this way, but then like it still needs this. Like it still needs an area of dimension or variation, so I'll add an instrument, you know, like, and I like to have like organic sounds, right? So I even like took my acoustic guitar and like recorded it on top of something. I even got like the shaker. You'll hear the shaker in a lot of my music. You'll hear the kalimba a lot in my music.
Kalimba? I never heard of one of that. That's cool as shit, man.
Yeah, these things are dope. So like, I just record into my mic, which is this guy here, and just fucking like, you know, I could sample my drums, and load those wave files into my electronic kit.
So you can play your standard drum set. What would you call that?
It's
acoustic drum set. That's what I was gonna call it. But so you can play that, and then you can record all your sounds from that onto the electric one.
Yeah.
And then that makes it so like if you're in like a metal band and they have this thing where you hit the drum and it makes the same sound no matter how hard you're hitting it. If you're in a metal band, that sounds horrible. But if you're doing beats, that's perfect. I hate it in metal bands.
Not necessarily.
To me, it don't. I don't.
It's well,
to a degree, maybe.
To a degree, it depends on the vibe you're going for. There are a lot of hip hop artists that have one volume for their hats and one volume for their snare. That's not how I roll. There's something called velocity when you're talking about programming MIDI. Okay. MIDI stands for Musical Instrument Device Interface. Okay, so like it's been around since the 80s. You can literally like take, I can't remember, I think it's like 128 samples per MIDI track. So like, and there's like 32 MIDI channels that you can bus, right? So like you can like literally create banks and banks of sound effects and send them through different MIDI ports through there's yellow, or sorry, yellow, the red and gray MIDI cables right there. Those are MIDI cables.
Okay.
But all of these newer devices, say this guy right here. This is the classic nerd. You'll see this all over the internet. Producers using this. The Kiffness, he has this, the same one. The guy that does the cat fucking remixes. This is a MIDI keyboard, and it doesn't have standard MIDI, but it has USB MIDI. So like this transfers MIDI data into the computer just through USB instead of needing an interface. So that goes into that Octopad, for instance, goes into the Mark of the Unicorn there. That's a MIDI interface device. And that goes USB and lets it talk to the computer. And I can load up a MIDI channel and tell it where to pull the sounds from by loading up a patch, like a sound patch or a soundboard or a drum or like whatever. I can load waves into a MIDI, like anything, dude. It's the possible, and I could just hit a fucking pad and it'll replicate that sound. But then you can like take that same sound and like just go up and down the keyboard and it'll like adjust the pitch to play, you know what I mean? So you can just like ding and ding 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 ding. Like it's fucking wild, man. Like,
and then what's this? This is like,
it's another one.
It's another one. It's more.
It's a, this guy here is my DAW controller. I don't know if you can see that or not. This is the Akai APC20, and this allows me to control my DAW just directly from the controller. Plug and play, just like plug it in and when it's like play, stop, record. I have all my faders. These are all the different channels. It's fucking.
They might not be able to do it.
Yeah. That is a little loud. But yeah, it's cool, man.
And then so this thing over here connected to your drum set, you can't really see it. That is to tweak the drum set.
So that runs into the MIDI in the back of my interface, and I use, that's the module that it comes with, and it has preloaded sounds.
Okay.
But I use the sounds that are loaded onto a program called Battery for Native Instruments, which is literally like thousands of drum sets that I can just choose from. And I just like load it up, and it's just like I can play 80s, I can play 90s sounding drums, I can play metal sounding drums or jazz, or like, and they all have different like effects, like brushes and shit. Like it's
endless.
Endless.
That's why I call you the mad scientist, because you can't just sit there and throw this together. You got to be like, you know, in here for hours and shit like that.
Well, you gotta have the patience to run through fucking banks and banks of sounds. And
oh yeah.
Sometimes I'm just sitting there trying to find the perfect snare and just hitting it down there, like, and then auditioning it and like listen it play back with the song.
Yeah.
And there's just like literally probably I bet you I probably have close to 30,000-40,000 different snare sounds. Like
Jesus. And like I was talking before we started this, you get tone deaf too when you're doing that over and over, and then you're like,
breaks.
You almost have to call someone else in. Like, what does that sound like? I can't tell anymore. You know, yeah, you gotta take breaks basically.
Yeah. Well, I'll have like.
You don't want to though.
On a typical Friday, Saturday night for me, I have like 3 to 5 different songs that I'm like working on, like, and I'll do a little bit here and then like come back and save it and then come back to it and then move to the next song. You know,
I get that thing in my head. I'm determined no matter what, it's done today. And I'm not stopping till it is. And I get that. It's with everything in life, but it's
yeah.
so I do that, and I think sometimes I sacrifice some of the sound, some of the, what would you call it, like the playback value or the quality or whatever, because I want it done now. And that's not what a mastering person does.
Well, no, it's it's like I don't know. It takes time. You kind of got to nurse it and have different. And you're right about having like different people like look at it and listen to it.
It is good to have other ears.
Yeah.
To look at it.
Because like
depending how important it is. Depending what type of product.
I could take my songs like all this stuff from Monsta that I'm mastering, and like take these WAV files and like over to my buddy's house, who has a lot bigger of a studio than I do, and it'll sound like totally different. Like, and when I'm talking about like on an audio file level, when you're hearing frequencies that are coming out because of the quality of the speakers and like the amps and like.
Okay.
You know, like, and he actually has what's called a tuned studio. So this microphone, it looks like a little tiny pencil, and it sits in the middle of your studio, and you run an app on your phone and let it record at the same time, and have that app run it so it runs off your phone and your computer, and it'll analyze all of your frequencies that are coming out of your speakers, like the hertz and the kilohertz and all that shit.
Yeah.
And then it will give you parameters on what to tune, like bring up the treble, bring up the mids, like it'll like so and it takes a bunch of different playbacks. So like you tweak it until there's like an optimal level for the decibel range that is being recorded. Like it's some. So you think I'm mad scientist? This shit that my buddy Jay has is mad scientist, dude.
And so do you can like select? Can you like select parameters of what you typically would want as your volume settings, and then it just kind of automatically like tries to measure that? Or
it's all about when you ring in a studio. Well, I guess it's called ringing in. It's called ringing in a studio.
Okay.
Like, is the technical word for it, I suppose. But hey, Silas, it's kind of like you don't like set the parameters. There's a specific like decibel range that you can get at like certain frequencies before it starts like clipping.
Yeah.
So it like allows it like has like its already optimal things set, and then it'll tell you what to turn down and what to turn up as far as bass, mids, like etc.
If you want to have a certain type of sound.
That's correct. Yeah.
If you so then you can choose whether or not to do exactly what it's saying. It's like
right.
If I want it this way that I predetermined, maybe I'll follow what it's saying. Perfect, but if I want to tweak it anyway, you can tweak it anyway you
want.
Well,
of course, it's your shit, but it's just letting you know what the optimal. Like,
that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
took me longer to say.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. It's your shit, you know. But if you're gonna spend the money on bringing in your studio, like it's kind of like, well, you know.
How much does that thing cost?
What, the microphone?
The little pencil thing.
It's a pencil condenser, and it comes with. I don't even know, man. I don't even know. Maybe like around that $1,000 mark or something, probably somewhere.
That'd be perfect for a podcast. Well, oh, that shouldn't be up there.
What?
No, it was just the cursor was resting on the stop button. I'm like, how about
that?
Yeah. But yeah, that'd be perfect for a podcast. Have a little pencil thing, like just sitting in somewhere. Like you don't have to have it next to you. Like, cause I don't
the whole purpose
I don't
of
like
the
having a mic next to your fucking face while you're trying to do a podcast. That's stupid.
Right. Well, I mean, the whole purpose of the microphone itself is to ring in a studio and optimal. It's literally like that's what it's. You ever see Rick and Morty and like what is your purpose? Like it is.
I've seen the show. I just don't.
I know. Well, So its purpose is, like I said, it's literally for that. Like,
It's not like a vocal mic.
no,
All right. Yeah.
no, like this is like a standard wideband.
So that thing. All right. So you got different types of speakers, and different types of speakers will clip at different volumes.
Yep.
And that pencil thing can tell like what you're working with.
Yep.
Basically, and that's what you're. Okay.
So this is a wideband diaphragm cardioid MOSFET microphone, and so the quality, it's hard to see, but there's a diaphragm inside here. If you hold it up to the light, maybe this way you can see it. But see that disc in there?
Yeah.
That's the actual diaphragm. So with this, all that mumble jumbo that I just like spat out at you, this shape right here, where it's like kind of looks like a Pac-Man facing down.
Yeah.
It's a wideband cardioid condenser. See, it says gold diaphragm condenser microphone. So what that means is that like from a range of like about 18 inches to 6 inches is like perfect for this. So, but it's like wide, so you could be over here, you could be over here, but
Okay.
and it's omnidirectional, or no, it's unidirectional, so it only records from one direction.
Okay.
Okay. On the other side, it doesn't record. There are microphones that are omnidirectional, like a Shure SM58. I know you've seen that. Everybody's used a 57 or a 58 in their life. Fuck, I forget which way is front. I'll figure it out. Oh, this is it. There we go. I found it.
That's your only mic that you got, basically.
Yeah, it was a couple $100 at the Lynx Music down the street, and it's just like not even a really great microphone. It's just a step up from the basement, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, it's good time. Can we pause that so I can piss?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back and we never left. For you motherfuckers watching.
Like, edit that.
So.
But anyway, yeah, man. I don't know. That's kind of just what I do.
So we were talking about mics. So there's like the condenser mic, and there's that other type that nobody like. When I was looking up mics, it's like you got a condenser mic, and then there's another mic that's like pointless, I think.
Oh, really?
Like what's the difference, basically?
Condenser mics require phantom power. So it requires an external power source that comes through the microphone cable, the XLR cable. That's what the third thing is intended for. It carries a slight power signal to be able to... Oh, it's not that loud.
But, so... Alright, so a condenser mic relies on an outside source.
Yeah, for a power, you have to power the diaphragm to be able to operate it, or else it doesn't. Like just sending it a signal isn't enough. You know, like a Shure like vocal mic that you'll see now. Shure SM58. I mean, it's classic. Everybody uses them live. But like, you see people singing within that range. A condenser mic, like it's literally shooting out a specific source. Like it's like a straight shot, like kind of like the signal like is narrow, or that it can record from.
Okay.
Like
Alright, so what, condensed?
Right, you got it.
Alright.
They're usually used on drum mics are usually condenser mics. They're meant so they can isolate the individual ones better. Yeah.
And then like when you're in like a punk rock band like me, like back in high school, you just grab the cheapest thing because you're gonna break it on stage.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, wrong.
But yeah. So when I got here, you had like 17 tracks in one song,
Yeah.
and for me,
This one.
yeah, for me, I would never imagine needing that much. Well, I also, if I needed extra tracks, I just condensed some, took them out, and put them right back in. If I didn't have enough, I've done that before with like trial programs.
What is that called? That was fat. Screen Dreams. Here we go.
Well, yeah, if you guys are fucking like obsessive compulsive and love editing and shit, this is your episode. So if you have no clue about anything we're saying, then I just watch another different one.
Yeah, this is the one I was working on. Something solid. Oh yeah.
This is one of your current projects.
Yeah. Well, it's actually like probably about a year old, and I'm just kind of like resurrecting it and trying to like remix it a little bit now that I have more capabilities.
Okay, yeah.
I went from the intro version of Ableton to the full version where I can have unlimited tracks and I can start mixing a little bit more vocals and stuff. Because it'll get you by 16 tracks. You can do a lot with 16 tracks. It'll get you by. Well, once you start adding vocals, forget about it.
I've never had to use that many. When I've had to use a lot of tracks like that, it was because I was throwing in like movie samples and doing all this extra shit. Like I've used a lot of like horror film samples.
But they're all like one.
And,
they're all like one,
exactly.
one little thing. It's not
and
like
that's why there were so many. But I've never had that much going on. Basically, is what I'm saying. And like when you do like a bunch of little weird stuff that you're patching in the middle of other shit that's just like samples or little verbal like blurts and shit, you can actually just throw all them onto one track. And so I never needed that much shit.
you can, but then if they're all different volume levels,
well, you can adjust the volume first, and then but like when I see that, I'm wondering what the fuck in your head. In your head, it's like you've got so much going on there. Like you started. How did it start? The project you started off with
this. I started off with this loop right here. I found this loop on Looperman.
That was the beginning.
That was the beginning. And then I programmed the hi-hats. Right, so I programmed the hi-hat.
Do you make loops as well?
Oh yeah,
That's what I was doing with this Serato program. I was teaching myself.
I actually used a VST and made this part. So I wrote this part.
VST?
Virtual instrument.
Okay. It's almost like them things, you know, when you see like the monk and he's got that thing he uses like 10 feet long.
Sorry, I blasted you out.
No, that combines really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when you isolate them individual tracks and then you like play all of it at once, it's like you see where you're going with it. Do you like see that ahead of time?
No.
You don't have like a
It's all
vision
just,
and you're just kind of like...
It's all just kind of on the fly. And then, well, see, I got kind of stuck. Like, I wrote the drums. I had that trumpet sound, that big tuba sound, and I had the drums. And I had that little lead part that I just showed you, right? So that's all I had. And I emailed Jenna, and I was like, I was like, hey man, I got this song I'm working on. Do you have anything that you can maybe add to it? And he was like, hold on, friend. And like a couple hours later, like he sent me the chick singing and the guitar. So the guitar was like a whole dimension, dude.
That's what I like about him.
So-
He don't fuck
so,
around. He's like, there you go.
So like this is the guitar he sent me. That sounds awesome.
And it's set to like the similar melody of what you had.
Yeah, it's in a relative key.
Yeah.
Where is that? Yeah, it's fucking cool, dude. Like, that's really sensitive. Smell my drink. So yeah, man, this is actually small.
I know, that's like, from what it sounded like you were getting at when I
Yeah.
got here, is that's not a whole lot of tracks.
It's really not.
And for me, that would be enough tracks.
Although
to do a
check
couple
this,
of songs.
this is another song that's kind of in its infancy. This is a little banger here.
Ableton's this program.
Yeah, Ableton Live. Yeah, this is a bang. They load up slow. Sorry, but so this is a new something that we're working on. This is a little banger right here.
And at the bottom there, is that the whole song put
Yeah,
together?
well, that's just like a.
It's,
Like I recorded that like just to like show my friend, like I'll get rid of it and then just do it again when it's finished, but like this sample that you hear with the keyboard where it's like it's literally called Horny Morning is the name of the instrument. Like add like little chops, you add little chops where it's like gives you moments of tension, where it's like and there's a resolve. Like that's how I write. Like I love little moments of tension in music. Like this is MIDI up here. So.
oh wow.
This is the instrument right here. So if I arm this, hold on, I'll show you. So this is. But I can like change all these parameters and make whatever song, you know what I mean? So like this is just MIDI data. That could be, I could load a whole different patch onto that and make it sound totally different. But it would still be the same notes.
Okay. Yeah, that's how like when I was making my loops, it was like rows of little squares this way, and you highlight them,
Yeah.
and then it would hit like you're playing a piano basically, but digitally, and then you created your loop, and then I'd add a second portion, and you'd create, and then that would be a loop, and it'd all be one loop with like 4 portions together, and then you loop that into 4.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was teaching myself for the first time. I actually never had done that.
Yeah. Well,
And
yeah,
like you're technically playing the piano, it's just not an actual piano. A piano itself
it's
is
just MIDI.
digital.
You're playing MIDI.
Basically. MIDI, yeah. Well, see, this is MIDI. I remember that word for video game music. When I was a kid, we used to say MIDI.
If I highlight this and drag this up, you'll see. It's literally just a piano roll. It's just notes. And you can program it however you want. Like I can drag those up and down. And
That is insane how much you just zoomed in on.
oh yeah.
To you, this seems normal.
Yeah.
To me, it's like I can't believe that this technology exists.
You want to see
know what I mean?
You want to see something real crazy? I'll show you what a drum MIDI sequence looks like. Here.
I'm not sure how well you can see the computer.
Probably not. You're just probably staring at my.
Let me.
So anyway. So check this out. What was I gonna show you? Oh, some MIDI drums. What the fuck is the name of the song? Look, Don't Touch. My kid's going crazy up there. It's hilarious. There it is. Let's see if this will load up. This is one of my singles with Rhythm Gorillas called Look, Don't Touch. So here is the drums for that. Fold them. And all it's doing is using the MIDI roll, and each one of those responds to my drums over there and records the MIDI data as like a, and then here's my like
damn.
But that's also like, let me turn on this one. Look, if I turn on my drums right now, I can trigger all these. Like,
So those are like, so you said those are linked up to the drum. So you hit the one drum and it's,
yeah,
and you can highlight all that shit from over there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
and then I'll come back and I'll edit. I'll move the notes around. Like this is the kick drum. Like I could put like extra, like just like start putting them in there. So this will sound like.
Okay. Yeah, so like that's the shit that I was doing with when I was teaching myself to make beats. To make the loops is like that shit, basically. Except they had. Oh, you do have it. I was gonna say they had a grid with the little highlighted blocks.
Yep.
But except with the thing I was using, you highlighted individual blocks that already existed. You know what I mean?
So, what's really cool about this is that I made the trumpet for this part, and I think I did a pretty good job. But what's also, I didn't know if you heard this or not, but check out this little groove joint, right? So I have this thing called cymatics. It makes it lo-fi, so listen carefully to the drums during this breakdown and watch this knob. This is called automation. You just record an action. Now watch. So it made it lo-fi for like just a quick little hop.
Did you just do that, or you had that already programmed?
Yeah, I recorded that actually.
Okay.
So listen, it drops to lo-fi for a second. Right here. So
That
it's like
sounds real good.
moments of tension. Little moments of tension.
And those little things, like the drum rolls and those pieces there, make the fucking song. Like,
Yeah.
the bulk parts of the song tend to.
Listen
you
to my
know,
buddy Jay playing the piano right here. Listen to this little fucking solo. And my buddy Joe's guitar right here. He sent me these stems, and I mixed it in, right? So if you listen, it's just like a...
And so you put the extra effort in.
But I also have, like, what else do I have on this track? So I have this shit called delay, which is this. I have denoiser.
Oh, delay. I'm like, I don't.
So it's this, and then I also have Guitar Rig 6 running on this, which is this. So these are all the plugins that are just running on that little tiny guitar clip. This one right here. So if you watch the denoiser, and then listen, that little tiny shimmer is coming from that. Like, it's it, but it's just like those little tiny. I love that moments of tension. Like, it's this shit, dude. It's yeah. So yes, it takes time to like craft. You know what I mean? Because you gotta like listen for. You don't know what you're looking for either. It's just kind of just like, oh, I want to. This would kind of sound cool here, and you just like kind of like, okay, well, what do I have available to me to make it sound like that? You know, there's a million different effects and that you can choose from.
And that's a lot of like people. Everyone listens to music unless you're like some kind of serial killer. You gotta like music. So like, you're listening to a fucking song without realizing this gigantic screen of fucking colors and shit, and different you know, plugins and editing and all this shit, and effects is what I meant to say. Different effects and shit, and all that stuff goes into that one little song you played driving in the car, you know, past the store. There's a lot going on.
What was I looking at for this? What is this?
I don't know.
Oh, this is a new joint.
Against the grain or just go with the flow.
Here again, here's my MIDI notes.
Run down, feeling blue, and I lost my glow. For all I know, the world can end tomorrow.
I think that sounds fucking awesome. And I literally like played that on the drums, and then came over here and fixed it up.
So when you do play it on the drums, you probably got on time pretty good. But when you bring it over here, you can like.
Well, it broadcasts the meter, so I record with the meter on.
Against the grain or just go with the flow. Run down, feeling blue, and I lost my glow. For all I know, the world can end tomorrow.
I'm telling you, dude, we gotta write, man. We gotta get on some shit, bro.
I'm there, man. I've been writing shit for years with shit recordings, man. Like, I'm like there.
There's Here's my my newest one. What the fuck is this called again? I have so many different songs, you can see here. I'm tired, so I'm brain farting. Horizon.
I'm a bit exhausted myself. Too.
Yeah. So this is my latest. This is my latest and greatest. It's still in production. Like I'm still mixing. There's 29 tracks. It's 29 stems.
I did want to say, like, the songs that I have collected on my computer, I might want you to do something like with the monster thing, but I will record it here from now on, so you don't have to do that. But I already have that shit, and I can sit at home and do it too, but it won't. I've heard where you were playing this the other time I was here.
I was. Yeah, there's. That's all the tracks. Pretty wild shit, man. We hold these truths to be self-evident, erased and edited, then became irrelevant. Growing greed, it all makes me sick, fed up discussing at the end of my whip. And I know I'm not the only one that feels like this. Got no time to sit by it, we're ever gonna fix this shit. I try to move with purpose, understand not perfect. Just trying to come up with the game plan until I do. That's my shit. My name's Boot. Most of y'all know me as Jesse. But yeah, man, I gotta be out. I gotta make some music. So thanks for coming along with the ride and
ladies
hanging
and
with
gentlemen, Crown of Thoughts, Jesse Burtner. This is where I'm recording my new music from now on.
This is the now home of Reality Horror Records, motherfucker.
Yeah, Reality Horror Records with actual professional sound soon to come.
Soon. We're gonna split your wigs.
All right, guys. I guess we're out. Any last words?
I'm trying to think of something smart to say, but
I do that every episode. Every episode at the end, I try to think of something clever.
Embrace what defines you. And you can't control others' reactions, only your own. Take that to the grave. Peace.